Greetings, everyone. Welcome. I'm Chuck Brown, Communications Director with OpenSky Policy Institute. We're here with our Executive Director, Renee to talk about LB645. Renee, let's just hop right in. Why don't you tell us about LB645? What is LB645?
Yeah, absolutely. So some Social Security is currently taxed in Nebraska. LB645 is introduced would have eliminated all Social Security taxation. And because of the huge fiscal impact, the legislature agreed to a compromise so that at least 50% of Social Security benefits would be tax exempt instead of 100%.
Great. And so why is LB645 important to OpenSky?
So once fully implemented, LB645 would reduce revenue by almost $170 million a year. So as you know, this will negatively impact the state's ability to support education, roads, healthcare, and other services that Nebraska seniors and all Nebraskans rely on. Furthermore, the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, or ITEP, estimates that 2/3 of the tax cut will go to retirees in the top 20% of incomes. So those that make over $114,000 a year. So I think we can all agree that Warren Buffett does not need an income tax cut.
I think Warren Buffett might agree. So you indicated there was a compromise. So why have several amendments been filed?
Well, because of concerns about fiscal sustainability, senators agreed on general file, which is the first round of debate, to come to a compromise on the bill. That's where it went from 100% exemption to at most a 50% exemption. On select file, the second of 3 rounds of debate, Senator Stinner brought that compromise. He's the chair of the Appropriations Committee. It also did include some intent language to take the exemption to 100%, but it was intent language. It said if there's the ability to do so in the budget, they would take it to 100%, but it would require another bill to do that. What's happened is that some senators are now suggesting that they didn't understand the amendment on select file, even though it's really quite simple and it was explained on the floor. So despite there being this deal that was agreed to, Senator Linehan will be attempting to amend the agreement so that Social Security is fully exempted. It would include some intent language to monitor the fiscal impact, saying that if it would monitor the fiscal impact, and if there isn't room in the budget, they could pull back on the exemption, but that is also intent language, and it would require new legislation to be adopted to actually not go to the full 100% exemption.
So this essentially takes the bill back to its original form?
Essentially, yes.
All right, okay. How is Social Security currently taxed in Nebraska?
So currently, Nebraskans with incomes below $59,100 for married filers or $44,460 for single filers pay no tax on their Social Security benefits. So these thresholds are currently indexed to inflation so that they increase slightly each year. Additionally, no more than 85% of Social Security benefits can be included in taxable income under federal law. So that means at least 15% is untaxed regardless of a Nebraskan's income level.
Okay. Is Social Security still exempt over a 10-year period in the bill? And how does that work?
Yeah, so the initial bill, and this is something we're always frustrated with at OpenSky, right? If we can't afford it now, it's unlikely we're going to be able to afford it at some point in the future. But in order to make the budget work, what they did was they took the bill, the full exemption, 100% exemption, over a 10-year period. And so it's phased in over a period of time. LB645 as originally introduced and with the Linehan amendment then would be phased in, that 100% exemption phased in over a 10-year period. Under the compromise, instead of going to 100%, as I said, they go to 50%, and that would happen over the course of 5 years. So by year 5 in 2025, 50% of Social Security, at least 50% of Social Security for every Nebraskan would be exempt, and for each year thereafter.
Okay. Are most retirees paying tax on their Social Security now?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Nebraskans with incomes below $59,100 for married filers, $44,460 for single filers pay no tax on their Social Security benefits. And according to the Department of Revenue, that means about 50% of Social Security benefits were taxed in 2019. So in other words, Nebraskans already before LB645 are only paying tax on about half of Social Security benefits.
Okay. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about Social Security taxation and double taxation. Does taxing Social Security amount to double taxation?
Yeah, so let me provide a little bit of background. The federal government began taxing a portion of Social Security benefits in 1984, and then increased the maximum amount subject to tax to 85% in 1993. The idea was that they wanted to treat Social Security benefits like other retirement income, such as pensions, right? And for most retirees, the vast majority of Social Security benefits are income that has never been taxed. And let me explain that. So of payroll tax contributions that are initially made to Social Security, half are made by employers, which means those benefits have not been taxed. Then the Social Security contributions made by employers and by employees earn interest over the working life of an employee. So those earnings are untaxed as well. So as a result, experts calculated and estimated that about 85% of Social Security benefits reflected previously untaxed income. And this is why Congress chose to tax some Social Security benefits for higher income earners, and why some states choose to do so as well. But for the vast majority of retirees, Social Security benefits go completely untaxed.
What do you want people that are watching this video to do, Renee?
So if you're concerned about fully exempting Social Security benefits from taxation, whether it's because of the cost, again, $170 million a year once fully implemented, which will certainly negatively impact other services, or because it's largely a tax cut for the wealthy. Again, 2/3 of this tax cut will go to the wealthiest 20% of seniors. You should reach out to your senator and ask them to oppose Senator Linehan's Amendment 1431. Again, this is reneging on a deal that was made on select file, a compromise that was agreed to on the second round of debate as promised on the first round of debate. And there is an attempt to pull back and renege on that deal. And so if you're concerned about that, or you're concerned about the bill, or just the process, right? That senators had an agreement, they had a commitment, it was worked out, it was discussed on the floor, and now they're trying to undo that deal. If you're concerned about any of those things, you should reach out to your senator and do it soon, because they're going to bring this back up either Tuesday, May 18th or Wednesday, May 19th, and ask them to oppose Amendment 1431 to LB645.
Great, thanks Renee, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.